Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Dinesh Kundu with us today. He is committed to bring affordable cell and gene therapies to India and the world through East Ocyon Bio, which is his company in India. Dinesh, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you very much. Like you briefly introduced, we are trying to bring something to India which normally comes after multiple decades. So that has been the case for most of the innovative therapies. So we're just trying to change it to bring it almost at the same time, little behind Europe and US. So that's what we are trying to do.
Interesting. And when did you started that company and why exactly?
So we started this 3.5 years back, even though the conceptual part was going on around COVID time. So we started this because we felt there's a big gap. There's a big gap in innovative therapies in India. We identified the gap. Gap was for cancers and autoimmune diseases, and in cancer also specifically, if we see the gap was about curative therapies. So we have a lot of companies in India which work in pharma, biotechnology. They bring out generics. So India is known as the pharmacy of the world, but not for innovation. So that's something which we wanted to change.
Right. Okay. And you produce the generics, but there's no cell and gene therapies right now, or at least no big companies, no big startups in that field. So, specifically, did you raise capital for this one? What is your plan of growth and democratizing that across India for this year?
So India has more than 10,000 pharma companies, more than 200 biotech companies, but around five cell and gene therapy companies. It's a big space, Charles. So the space is massive. So five companies where there can be 500 plus companies in US, 500 plus companies in Europe versus five in India. So that's the kind of scale we're talking about. So we put $1 million of our money, and we raised $4.2 million a couple of months back from a VC and a strategic investor.
Right. And where's that money gonna be invested at first?
So the money has two clear mandates for us: generate the animal data and then set up a small facility which will allow us to start human trials. So have a asset built in, and then start the human trials. That's where it is moving towards right now.
Right. Okay. So you raised that capital for this year. What will be the priority for you as a co-founder?
So the priority is going to be, say we are working on four products. So priority would be to take one product towards human trial, first human injection, and the rest of the products we should have data for animal studies generated. So overall, at a macro level, this is what we will be targeting.
Okay. So you have four products, right? Like, can you give details about each and why you decided to go after these and not others?
So we taken a little different approach than most of the companies. We have started with solid tumors, like say solid tumors is something like a lung cancer or a ovarian cancer, colorectal cancer. So we have taken a approach of starting with more difficult tumors to start with, because there's no therapy right now. So our first product, which you are seeing right now on the screen, that is we are targeting firstly for ovarian cancer. After that, we are going after lung cancer, colorectal cancer, and liver cancer. These are extremely difficult to treat cancers. The second product is targeted towards head and neck cancer and triple negative breast cancer. Again, those are very, very difficult to treat and big cancer burdens in the world. Then we are working on some blood cancer products as well. So if you see below, we have AML, where you see AML and DLBCL. These are blood cancers. So we have started the work on blood cancers, but this is behind solid tumors. And in the end, which you see, that is an autoimmune disease, one of the most common autoimmune diseases, most debilitating, SLE. So we are working on that. So this is our portfolio, and even our strategy is to focus on areas where not many companies are focusing.
Right. And 4.2 million. Do you think it'll be enough for all of these projects? It seems like quite a lot. Like in America, I think they would spend probably like 10 million just for the first one, right? Like ovarian cancer. Is it because you're in India, you can save a lot of money and spend more efficiently?
So Charles, you are right. The money is not going to be sufficient for all the work. So we just want to take the first product to a meaningful level, which will allow us to go for a bigger funding, to go for the bigger human trials and commercialization. So it is just a you can say a interim funding before we raise the next round of funding. So next round we are targeting around $20 million, which will allow us to complete the human trials. So it is a stepwise approach.
Got it. And tell me about like the cell and gene therapy solution, specifically here, the FN-Cas9 genome editing platform and the gamma retroviral vector platform.
So, see, the cell therapy and gene therapy space is massive, Charles. It is there is like an ocean. You need to choose what you want to focus on. So we have chosen some of the areas, and this is our next generation. The next wave of treatment which we are targeting is based on CRISPR. So most of us would have heard about CRISPR, where we can do gene editing, splicing, and also we can replace a faulty gene. So we are using that for cell therapy right now. And the viral vector platform, which you see right now on the right hand side, that is for basically taking the target to the cell. Target cannot go to the cell by itself. We need a medium. So viral vector is a medium through which we basically attach the target on the cell. So this is a vehicle, and this is one of the mechanisms for gene editing, FNCAS9.
Right. And how can India compete on that level? Like, what does India have that, for example, North America or biotech hubs like I don't know Europe would have? So, how can you remain competitive on that level?
See, India has shown at multiple levels. We have shown very clearly in space tech. We have shown very clearly in defense tech. We have shown very clearly in fintech. So this is one area where we still need to prove ourselves. But the right now the results have started coming in. So two CAR T therapies have been approved in India. That is and you know what is the most interesting part? Those therapies are sold to the patients at 1/10 of the US and UK price. So $500,000 in US, selling it at $30,000. Not us, I mean the company which has launched it. So $30,000 versus $500,000, Charles. That's what India can do. We have immense level of cost optimization, which we do at every level.
Right. And tell me a bit more about your background. I think it's quite interesting. You were an army doctor before that.
Yes, so my background is I'm a medical student, army doctor. I worked in army for 7 years. Then I went for my MBA. After MBA, I went to biotech, and from biotech, I'm in cell and gene therapy. So it's quite a zigzag path, but all are connected. It's not that I moved away from my science domain. It's still in science, but still very very different areas.
Right. And what did you see in your prior profession as a medical doctor in the army? Did you see inefficiencies? Did you see that you could fix it by starting a company instead and curing or healing more lives instead of just like constantly fixing the problem once shit hits the fan, sort of?
So Charles, my family alone, family, I mean my family, my wife, just close family has 17 doctors, a different specialty. So we have a plethora of in-house understanding of how the system works. So I was able to see that the gap exists for sure. And as a clinician, I can see probably a OPD of 100 patients a day. But if you are able to launch one product, I believe we can reach out to 10,000 doctors and 100,000, a million, or a multi-million patients with that. So I believe the impact can be at par or much bigger if you are able to launch a single product. And if you can go with multiple products, massive.
Right. And yeah, what are your predictions when it comes to curing cancer in the next decade? Like, will that be a possible thing, or is that a fantasy?
So cancer is not uniform, Charles. Cancer is like say 100 type of different cancers, different stages. but we, in my opinion, we will definitely start seeing at least 10 to 20 cancers being addressable and curable at initial stages. Not all of them. So all of them will probably be a panacea, but we will start seeing very very good progress because of cell therapy, gene therapy, immunotherapy, radioisotopes. So for the first time in last 5 6 years, I'm seeing a combination of different therapies all trying to come together to treat cancer. So that's my hope there.
And where does AI play a role into this?
Massive role. See, a product development which could take, like, say, 1 year just to have the sequence analysis, have the initial data, AI can probably do it in I'll say a day. So it is going to be extremely important. We still need to validate that target which is generated by AI. So we have started seeing it massively in antibody discovery. We have started seeing in getting the right target. So massive role, Charles, in my opinion.
Right. And what companies are leading in that direction? Is it, yeah, I mean, yeah, certainly like AlphaFold by DeepMind is pretty good on that level. What other AI companies are you seeing lead in that space? And is it the in vitro part of it, like being able to make experiments in a virtual environment? Like what part of AI do you see massively advancing discoveries in biotech right now?
So, two parts, in my opinion. One is in vitro antibody discovery. So, antibody and target discovery, that is going to be the biggest, in my opinion. And after that, one more area which I'm very, very excited about is, say, right now we need to do a lot of mice studies, and if we can do it, like, say, chip organ on chip, 3D tumor models, and different in vivo replacement of in vivo models. So that will be very exciting because we can get the same data, much lesser time, no killing of animals. So these are the two areas. And your third point about which companies, I'm seeing a lot of the space being driven by the big players as well as multiple small players who are going into their specific areas.
Right. And what's been challenging about running your company so far?
Funding is one big issue. I think that's uniform across the world. And second thing is, see, India still is a developing market in terms of regulatory landscape. So the challenges, they come, like, so we have to deal with the regulators, work with them closely. It takes little longer time compared to where it is established, like Europe, US, China, and UK.
Right. And what do you do as a founder when it gets challenging?
So we have a good pool now. I mean, we are building the pool and we keep evolving it. By pool, I mean that there are friends, there are experts, there are, like, say, people who understand this area, India and outside. So I'm able to reach out to people, like, say, I have friends from, say, MD Anderson or Harvard or Stanford, UPenn, Cambridge. So I'm able to reach out to them, something which I'm facing scientifically. So I do that. And if it is operationally, I mean, we need to get the head down and sort it. But creating a pool of people who can help you, in my opinion, is extremely crucial.
Right. Seems you have a lot of partners as well as a company. How do you leverage these partners to complement your existing team?
Yes, so the partners, you see, the partners are people from the specific areas. So we have two people from analytical, one person from process, one person from manufacturing, one process from quality, one process from QC. So effectively, different areas of cell and gene therapy. These people understand that. Not possible for me or any of us to have an end-to-end understanding. So we can lean on their expertise, lean on their time. So it has been thought out strategies. These people have been there from the very beginning. So we have no sweat equity, Charles. No sweat equity. All equity has been, these people have put in money and then they came on board.
Right. And CRISPR, at what stage is it right now, and how are you leveraging it personally in your company?
So CRISPR right now is early process development experiments going on. So we are using it to make the cell therapy more effective. So what I mean by that is, so we are using it for NK cells and gamma delta T cells. to knock out some of the receptors which are not letting the medicines work, so which are not helping in the tumor microenvironment. So we leveraging it right now for that. Our plan from next year is going for gene therapy for monogenic disorders where one gene is faulty. So that's what we'll be starting next year.
Interesting. Well, Dinesh, thanks for coming on today. Where can people find out more about you and your company?
Our website is eastoceanbio.com, and they feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and my number is also there. We are more than happy to provide the details.
So it's Dinesh and Charles for another Founder Wisdom